Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be why the narcissist wants you to feel trapped. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So trapped, that's not a good feeling. When you're trapped, you are not free. You're not liberated to do whatever you want to do. And when you're in the narcissistic relationship, that is what you are. You are trapped. When you were in it, you didn't know that you were, though, because remember, you weren't taught narcissism 101 in school. You thought that the person you were in the relationship had your best interest at heart. Maybe it was your mom or dad. Maybe it was your brother, sister. Maybe it was a romantic interest, a friend of 10, 20, 30 years, a neighbor, a colleague, coworker, person in a community and or organization that you are and or were a part of. The narcissist is everywhere, and one thing they do want you to do, or one thing they do want you to feel, is to feel like you're trapped. Now let's go back when you were in the relationship. Were you being listened to? Were you being heard? Were you being felt that your words mattered? No, none of those things. You didn't have a voice back in the narcissistic relationship. You were being silenced. You were being given the silent treatment. You were not treated properly. You were walking around on eggshells. You did not know who would open the front door. Would it be Dr. Jekyll or would it be Mr. Hyde? You never knew if the dinner that you went out to would go okay, or would there be another monkey wrench thrown in it, meaning would you be triangulated, or would the narcissist be on their smartphone completely ignoring you and paying more attention to complete strangers, whether those people be on the smartphone or in the restaurant, than you. You see, you tolerated a whole lot. You did not know what you were up against. What you did know is when you were in that relationship, each and every day when you were in it, you were feeling trapped more and more and more, and you couldn't express yourself because the narcissist didn't want to hear from you or about you. The narcissist looked at you as an opportunity. They looked at you as a pawn, a puppet. They looked at you as clay that they could mold into whatever they wanted to. And again, when the narcissist took everything they possibly could have taken from you, that's most likely when they discarded you, unless you ended the relationship yourself because you reached the breaking point. You couldn't unsee all the toxicity that you had seen, and you now realize that removing yourself and creating an exit plan and executing that was the path. And maybe that's what you're doing, or maybe that's what you've done. But the narcissist wanted you trapped when you're in that relationship. Think of how many nights you had when you were waiting for the narcissist to come home. Well, you felt alone and trapped there because you didn't know where they were, who they were with, or what they were doing. Same thing when you would text them. If you would text them your whereabouts or what time you were coming home, or if you were going to pick up something from the grocery store, would they reply to your text? Well, yeah, if they needed something or they wanted you to do something like pick up their dry cleaning or go put gas in the car on your dime, etc., or overspend on the groceries when they knew that you only had a certain budget, but you had to appease them, so you would do whatever they wanted you to do. That's why so frequently on the channel I bring up this term, which is the long laundry list of things, the endless to-do list. This is what the narcissist gave you when you were in that relationship. The endless to-do list is something that the narcissist distributes to anybody that is around them. And these people, i.e. the enablers, flying monkeys, or targets, they need to accomplish the endless to-do list. And in any one given day, it could be anything from a few items to 10 or 12 things. Some days it's even more. But you're supposed to always be on the go, just like the narcissist wants you. The narcissist does not want you or themselves or anybody to sit still, because the narcissist has a constant quest or quench for supply. And what gives them supply is not only pets, planes, trains, automobiles, people, jobs, money, status, events, everything. But it's not only that, but what other things give them supply is when they can control people. And that was you. You were in that relationship and you were trapped. That's why you were the unpaid helper. That's why you were the walking apology. That's why you were given the endless to-do list. You were the chauffeur. You were the person who ran the errands and paid the bills and raised the kids and put a roof over the head of the narcissist. And all the time, you were juggling your work. You were also trying to deal with health concerns. You were dealing with your bank account becoming dwindled more and more. You were dealing with the narcissist's poor behavior. And I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but I'll say it again, such as your experiences with triangulation, my least favorite thing that these people do. You didn't even know what triangulation was. But then again, at times you would come home from work and there would be a complete stranger sitting where you would sit in your house of the same sex as you, and they would be a little too close to the narcissist, and you would be wondering, who is this? How did they get in my house? And what are they doing here? What is going on? And you would scratch your head, and then the narcissist would look at you and say, oh, just a friend from high school, or an old friend that I reconnected with, or this person just moved into the neighborhood and I thought I'd get to know them, or it's a business associate and we're working on a project. We're really going to make something of this one. And you're looking at them in disbelief. How could they actually say that with a straight face? And then you look at this other person who may or may not know that the narcissist is a narcissist, but what they are doing is they're listening to the words of the narcissist, and they're not giving you any time of day. They probably didn't even stand up to shake your hand, etc. They probably just looked at you like, yeah, what are you going to do? The thing is, this is what the narcissist does with people. They keep them tricked and trapped in the relationship. They keep people in the narcissistic fog going around and around and around. And that is where you were existing for a period of time, which was the length of the relationship. But you saw so many poor or strange behaviors. You tolerated different kinds of abuse: verbal abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, maybe, definitely financial abuse. And triangulation was something else that you tolerated because you didn't know what you were up against. And most likely, if that was the romantic relationship, you were in love with the narcissist. The narcissist couldn't fall in love with you. They couldn't fall in love with a new supply. They can't fall in love with anybody because the narcissist has no love, and you can't give what you don't have. So using the triangulation as an example, you felt trapped. So what did you do when you would open the front door and let's say that happened? You only had a couple options. One, you could sit down and talk to these people, but then that conversation probably would end quickly because you wanted to participate. Or two, you would just leave, and then those two would be talking for hours on end and laughing it up, and you'd be thinking to yourself, wow, you're spending so much time with this wink wink alleged complete stranger, and you're laughing the way you should be laughing when I come home from work, but you're not giving me the time of day. What's happening here? Well, I'll tell you what's happening. They were testing you and your fortitude, and they were testing you in that relationship, because the narcissist was always pressing on the gas pedal of abuse. They were always looking for ways to break the relationship. They were seeing if you would tolerate the triangulation, as the example shared. They would also see that if you would stay trapped in the narcissistic fog, or if you would figure a way out of it. Meaning this: many of us took notes during the narcissistic relationship on our smartphones, or maybe even handwritten notes about the relationship when we didn't even know what we were up against. I was one of those people, which meant back then when I was in the relationship, I knew something was off. I knew something was amiss. I knew something was wrong, and I did feel trapped. I felt isolated. I felt more alone sitting on the couch being next to the narcissist than I did being by myself watching a movie. Whole point of this is when we took notes, we were trying to figure out and crack the code as to what kind of relationship we were in. Because as I mentioned previously, we weren't taught Narcissism 101 in school, so we didn't know what it was. The narcissist knew what it was. We didn't. That's why it was advantage narcissist throughout that whole relationship, until we finally found the needle in a haystack and we cracked the code. And we typed in something on the search engine or YouTube, so something like spouse won't talk to me, or stranger in my house too close to my spouse, or whatever you would type in there. And then you would find some videos or some content, and then you would explore a little bit deeper, and then lo and behold, you would figure it out. There would be a term, there would be a word for the strange behaviors that you were experiencing. And these definitions were in the glossary on the narcissistic abusive cycle. This was a new awakening for you. It was now a rebirth, if you will, because you probably sat down and scratched your head and said, I can't believe this. How come no one told me about this? How did I not know about it? The thing is, you figured out, you had your first light bulb moment, you figured out that this was a narcissistic relationship. But then when you did it, you had to really unwrap and unwind a whole bunch of different things. Did you still love the person? Did you wrap your head around the fact that they didn't love you? I'm sure you did that, or you're doing that. And no, they didn't love you. And the next thing is understand that these people stay stuck in the loop, in the cycle, and they need hosts because they are a parasite and need people to feed off of. Now, I know that sounds a little challenging, but it's true. The narcissist cannot regulate themselves, and what they need is they need people trapped in the narcissistic abusive cycle, stuck, pining for them, thinking about them, wondering where they are, who they're with, what they're doing, giving them more and more chances, and not seeing behind the mask. That's what they want. And at one point in time, that was you. When you finally got the light bulb moment and you wrapped your head around that the relationship was a toxic narcissistic relationship, or a toxic relationship at all, to say the least, that's when you had to practice radical acceptance and say, okay, that relationship was what it was. It wasn't what I thought it was. And did I give to a fault? Yes. Was I trapped? Yes. Was I a people pleaser? Maybe. Do I have a high level of empathy? Most likely. But the narcissist knew this, and they took advantage of this relationship and you for as long as they possibly could, certainly until the new supply could be lined up, because the narcissist needs a fresh source of supply. They need a new shiny object. Remember, you were the new supply at one point. The narcissist was coming from a relationship that was divided and blown up by them, most likely, or maybe they were in a relationship with another narcissist. But either way, that relationship also had an expiration date, and so did yours, and so does the relationship with the new supply. That's why the loop just goes around and around and around, and the one constant in the loop is the narcissist themselves. It's not you. It has never been you, and it won't be you. So feeling trapped when you're in the relationship, this is how the narcissist wanted you to feel when you were in it. Think about how many times you would perhaps tell the narcissist, hey, I didn't sign up for this. And maybe you would take your wedding ring off and put it on the kitchen counter. Or maybe it was your mom or dad you were in the relationship with, and you said, you know what, I'm moving out. I'm not staying in this any longer. I don't need your money. I'm gone. And they say things like, well, you'll be back. You need us. Or blood is thicker than water. Or stick with the family. Or turn a blind eye. Or forgive and forget. Or just give us another chance, etc. They'll say so many things they can to try and draw you back in. But each and every one of us in the community and on the channel, we reached a breaking point. There was a line that could not be crossed any longer. And for me, it was October 29th, 2020, when I was discarded. For you, I'm sure you know when that was, but each and every one of us have a pivotal period of time when we finally had had enough. And we put up a boundary and said, hey, I'm not gonna tolerate this any longer. And many times shortly thereafter, that's when the discard happens, or that's when the discard will be put into motion. Now, why I'm saying all these things is because when you were in the relationship, you were trapped. You were working for the narcissist. You were doing everything you possibly could have to keep that relationship together. You were turning a blind eye. You were tolerating the poor behavior. You did everything you could. Now, many times post-narcissistic relationship, when I'm having sessions with people and they're out of the relationship, they'll ask me what my take is on this one question. Should I have done more? Could I have done more? Was the relationship sustainable? Could I have stayed in it longer if I did A, B, and C? Or what is the situation there? And I will just tell them what I'll tell you. I'll tell you what I tell them. The relationship was going to break one way or the other. The relationship was actually broken the minute you entered it with them. The thing is, they were wearing a mask. They were manipulating you, and you didn't know it because you didn't know what narcissism was. The next thing is, yeah, could you have done some things differently to extend the length of that relationship? Probably. I'm sure you could have. But would it have benefited you? No, it wouldn't have. What it would have meant is you would have tolerated or endured or experienced more toxic behavior for an extended period of time. That wouldn't have served you. So the long answer there is, yes, you probably could have stayed in it longer, but why would you want to? You stood up for yourself and you called them out, or you did whatever you did, and you put up a boundary, and that's when the mask slipped, and that's when it went crashing to the ground, and that's when you realized, oh my goodness, I need to get out of this relationship. So there's the answer, and it wasn't a long answer, it was a short answer actually, but I just want to share with you, when you're trapped, the narcissist wants you to feel trapped. Now, how the narcissist wants you to feel trapped, that's when you're in the relationship. Think about when it's over and you're trying to divorce the narcissist, or divide assets, or divide custody of the children, or 401ks, or beach houses, etc., all these things. Again, this is really, really fun for the narcissist. It's not fun for you, and it certainly wasn't fun for me. But this is where the narcissist wants to keep you trapped again. This is why they drag out the divorce. This is why they miss the deadlines on the important documents they have to turn in. This is why the narcissist will extend deadlines as long as they possibly can. This is why the narcissist will try and fool their own lawyers and the judge. And this is why the narcissist believes that they can pull one over on anybody. And I mean anybody. You see, the narcissist lives in their tiny little pea brain. And that little tiny little script that's running around in there somewhere, it says, I can do no wrong. I will get what I want. I am spoiled rotten, and I will tolerate absolutely nothing from anybody that I don't want to tolerate. And I will not listen to anybody on the planet that I don't want to listen to, which is anybody. And the rules that were not meant for me. I make my own rules, and nobody will tell me what to do. How many times did you hear that when you're in the relationship? This exact line or something similar. Nobody's going to tell me what to do. I am sure you heard that multiple times. And I'm sure you heard actual examples of who the narcissist told you that nobody in the past could tell them what to do. This is like a little kid holding their breath, saying, I'm not going to listen to you, I'm going to hold my breath. And they can only get to count to 10 or 15, and then they have to exhale. Well, that's the narcissist in a nutshell. And no disrespect to children. I was one once too, and so were you. But all these things I'm mentioning, when you're trying to divorce the narcissist, they want it to go any way except for the way it should go. This is why they try to extend things. This is why the narcissist many times will not, and I repeat, not be opening to negotiation. This is why many times the narcissist will want you to go to a mediator. And you may say, well, what's the difference between negotiation and mediator? Well, mediator, they can manipulate and they can get as much, or they can get more out of the mediator, because the mediator is either a toxic person themselves at times, nothing against mediators, or they are a person who doesn't know about narcissism. They can be manipulated. That's why many times the narcissist wants to go to mediation. But what the narcissist doesn't want to do is split the assets or custody 50-50. They believe that they're entitled to more than you, because remember, the narcissist, it's not that they want custody of the children, it's that they don't want you to have custody of the children, and they want to keep you trapped, and they want to keep playing the system as much as they possibly can, with the children, with the assets, with the money, with the lawyers, with the banks, everything they possibly can, with alimony. This is what the narcissist does. And what they want to do is they want to keep people trapped and stuck and working and proving that the narcissist is doing things wrong. And then the narcissist sits back and they get supply from that. But you only have a few options when you're trying to remove yourself from the narcissistic relationship, specifically divorcing them and division of assets, etc. You do the right thing, you turn in your papers properly and show up for court when necessary, etc. And then you see what the narcissist does. And believe me, they'll break the rules. They will not attend many ceremonies or many events that they need to attend. Appointments is what I meant to say. But the point being is the narcissist always, and I mean always, overplays their hand. And eventually, the people that were trying to get away from the narcissist, the spouses and the siblings and the people that were tethered to the narcissist, eventually they do get free. And they get free, and then they go no contact and block the narcissist, delete them, remove all flying monkeys and people associated with them. But for a period of time when you couldn't block the narcissist, and maybe you really wanted to, but you couldn't because you were still tethered to them, you felt like you were trapped, and you felt like you still had to leave an avenue of communication open with them, because you did. That's what you needed to do to get you through that period of time. And the narcissist did not ever think that you would have the courage to block them or to relocate or to start your life all over again. They certainly didn't think that you would heal and figure out what the narcissist was or who the narcissist was, but you did, and you're doing it, and here you are. That's why you're a fortunate person. That's why you should be grateful that you're out of the relationship, and that's why you should feel that you're not trapped any longer. So another part of the trappings of the narcissist is think about post-relationship after a lot of time has gone by. Are you ruminating that much? Probably not. Have you healed? You've either reached the pinnacle of indifference, the mountaintop of indifference, or you are arriving there shortly. At least that's my hope. But you don't feel trapped any longer, because now when you are narcissistic relationship free, you can now take a class, teach a class, read a book, write a book. You can travel. You can sleep until 2 o'clock in the afternoon, or you can stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning. You can read, you can journal, you can meditate, you can exercise, you can reclaim your hobbies, you can refurbish broken relationships if you want to, specifically ones of people that drank the Kool-Aid, that are good people that now have come around. They realize, like for example, maybe your brothers and sisters, maybe they were loyal to the narcissist, but they've come around. They realize, wow, it really wasn't you that was the toxic person, it was the narcissist. I hear this during sessions frequently, that there are siblings of people that were abused by the narcissist, and the siblings actually see the light. Why or how? I'll tell you, many times it's because they too fell into the trap, and now they understand what they couldn't understand before, but that's for a different video. All these things I'm mentioning to you, they culminate in why you felt trapped when you were in the relationship, why you felt trapped post-relationship, and why you need to get untrapped or unstuck when you're trying to break the tethers or the chains of the narcissistic relationship, i.e. divorcing them and assets and custody, etc. Because the narcissist wants to draw everything out as long as they possibly can, because your pain is their pleasure. Your discomfort is their drug. Your being stuck and being financially abused and waiting for deadlines to come and go with no progress in the proceedings of the custody or the divorce, that gives them supply, and it does not help you out at all, because you need a timeline. You need to know when you're going to be divorced, when the custody will go through, etc. And sometimes it doesn't work as smoothly or as cleanly as it should. Again, for a different video, but the narcissist is loving it because they know that you're not getting what you want. And remember, the narcissist wants to impede your progress, impede your growth. They don't want you to figure out who you really are supposed to be. They don't want you to heal, and they don't want you to be living your best life, because the narcissist was always in competition with you. And I can assure you right now, if the narcissist is walking the planet, they're still in competition, but not only with you, with the new supply, with their own kids, with their colleagues, coworkers, neighbors, with anybody, with their friends, wink, wink. You see, the narcissist will never be satiated. They will never be satisfied with what they had in the past or what they have right now. And they always blow up any relationship they become a part of, and they always overplay their hand. But once you're free from the reins of the narcissist, my hope is you are no longer trapped or feeling trapped. You're now getting your cup full, and you're re-energizing yourself, and you're understanding that you are the priority, that you come first, second, and third, and there is no room in your life now or in the future for a narcissistic person or any toxicity any longer. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. Remember that you are not alone. And when you were in the relationship, you did feel trapped, but you didn't know what you know now. So again, be kind and be patient with yourself, and be really, really patient. The second thing is, post-relationship, you did find the needle in a haystack because you're on the channel and you're in the community. So that was a huge part for your healing. Understanding that that relationship wasn't your fault. You were manipulated. You were groomed and placed in the trauma bond, and you were devalued more and more each and every day you stayed in that relationship. So be patient with yourself there also. And understanding that right now, where you are, perhaps if it is not where you want to be, it isn't where you will be in 3 months, in 6 months, in 9 months, in 12 months. Flip it. If right now is where you want to be, then you've already reached the pinnacle, the mountaintop of indifference, and you are in rarefied air. But there's more than enough room for everybody to arrive at the pinnacle of indifference. Everybody, that is, but the narcissist. Because the rarefied air, i.e. the mountaintop, the pinnacle of indifference, is for those of us who have gone through the cycle, risen through the ashes like a phoenix, and come through the fire. We've dusted ourselves off, picked ourselves up by the bootstraps, and put ourselves back together. And we did not quit. We did not give up. We never gave up. We're not going to give up today, not going to give up tonight or tomorrow. We're going to continue moving forward each and every day. We are going to continue to become awakened and aware, educated and empowered. And we understand we are the priority. We are stronger than we know. So we will continue to do our best. And when our cup is full, what we will do is we will pay it back to those loved and trusted ones around us, if we so choose to do so. If we don't want to, we will just continue to live our best life, and we will be drama-free, narcissist-free, and toxic-free, because now we have boundaries and we can say no, the strongest word in the English language. And remember, when you say no to something or someone, you are saying yes to yourself. A little longer video, but I want to share with you that my hope is, if you're feeling trapped, you understand that you're going to get out of this. Number two, if you were trapped, please take a moment, pause, and be grateful that you're not any longer, because you did a lot of work to get yourself out of that. And number three, if this is about to end soon for you, or perhaps your relationship, you're finally free from the tethers today, I want to really let you know, celebrate. When I say celebrate, really take some time out and really pause and say to yourself, oh my gosh, I did it. Take a big deep breath in and exhale slowly, and really say, I have come so far and I did it. I conquered the narcissistic relationship. I am absolutely so grateful I did that. I didn't want to go through it. I had to go through it. There was no other way. But now I'm here and I am free and I am not trapped any longer. I love you all. God bless you. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.